5 from the Denver Public Library. We're coming to you a week late because of the Memorial Day holiday last week. My name is Erin. I'm a librarian at DPL's Central Library, and in 15 minutes or less, we'll have you up to speed on 5 new titles out this month that we can't wait for you to read or listen to. This week, DPL is kicking off Summer of Adventure. We have tons of activities for kids, teens, and families, from kite making to a mad science workshop to DIY squishmallows. Check out all the fun at summerofadventure.org. In recognition of World Refugee Day on June 20th, DPL will be hosting author Mike Sen and Senabao of Comal Heritage Incubator in a hybrid event featuring our panel virtually with an in-person watch party at Bob Ragland Branch Library. Tune in or stop by from 3 to 4 p.m. Mountain Time on June 20th to learn about the impact the immigrant experience is having on the world culinary scene. If you attend the watch party, you'll have the chance to go home with a copy of Maya Sen's book, Tastemakers. More details at link below. And now on to the books. In 2012, 19-year-old Leon Ford was shot 5 times by a Pittsburgh police officer as he was racially profiled during a case of mistaken identity. When he woke up in the hospital, he was faced with 2 life-changing things. He was a new father, and he was paralyzed from the waist down. In An Unspeakable Hope, Brutality, Forgiveness, and Building a Better Future for My Son, he recounts his youth as the son of a drug kingpin and the societal pressure he felt to fit in. Even with his father in prison, Leon's goal was to be a major player in the street drug industry. After being paralyzed, his decision was to always lead with love and work with community leaders to encourage youth to see beyond the low expectations society has for people of color. Now, as a respected activist and mental health ambassador, Ford passionately addresses disparities by focusing on holistic wellness. His inspiring approach emphasizes the importance of resilience, transforming personal challenges into purpose, and creating a lasting societal impact. For some reader likes, try My Brother Moochie, Regaining Dignity in the Face of Crime, Poverty, and Racism in the American South, by Isaac J. Bailey, which recounts the pain author felt when saw his hero, his eldest brother, taken away in handcuffs, not to return from prison for 32 years. Or in Go Back and Get It, a memoir of race, inheritance, and intergenerational healing, an unexpected family photograph leads author Diane Ford to uncover the stories of her enslaved female ancestors, reclaim their power, and begin to heal. How do you define Blue Skies by T.C. Boyle? Is it an eco-thriller or a climate fiction? It's rough going in Florida a decade or 2 into the future, when heat waves cross the continent and everyone is running out of water. But for Todd and Kat, soon to be married, there's nothing a little rum can't take care of. After all, Todd is a Bacardi rep, and Kat, well, she just likes to drink, but not Bacardi. When they move into Todd's mom's house in coastal Florida, things seem to be good, though the water keeps rising and the bottom steps are disappearing. Then Kat gets bored and needs to boost her social media status and decides to become the snake lady, though she turns out to be a rather irresponsible owner. Bad things get worse and tragedy strikes in a way that Carl Hiaasen would be proud of. Left, right, and middle, politicians and pundits in positions all get gleefully skewered. Leave it to Boyle to have you chortling through the disasters in his trademark snarky observations of American society. Also taking place in the near-ish future, Eleutheria by Allegra Hyde is a story of idealism, activism, and systemic corruption, centered on a naive young woman's quest for agency in a world ravaged by climate change. More tech-apocalyptic than eco-thriller, The Temps by Andrew DeYoung is a surprising, profound tribute to the absurdities and paranoia of modern life, and an epic exploration of survival and human connection in the digital age. Everyone experiences some level of anxiety, but for some folks, anxiety can be mentally and physically crippling. In Bold Move, a 3-step plan to transform anxiety into power by Luana Marquez, an associate psychology professor at Harvard, relates her own issues rooted in fear and avoidance spurred by childhood trauma, and how she learned to deal with them by treating others with anxiety as a clinician. In Bold Move, she has synthesized that knowledge, developing a 3-step plan that works for everyone, from teens in crisis to executives experiencing burnout. Luana coaches readers to shift the stories they tell themselves so that they can transform automatic pilot lives into meaningful conscious living. New York Times bestselling author Danielle Pink says, "If you're timid when you should be tough and resigned, when you should be resolute, this book is the antidote." Feeling more physical? Motivational speaker Jennifer Cassetta delivers an animated volume on how women can find inner strength by adopting principles from martial arts in The Art of Badassery. Unleash your mojo with wisdom of the dojo. Tools for treating the epidemic of mood disorders, including depression and anxiety, are profoundly limited. The Ketamine Breakthrough: How to Find Freedom from Depression, Lift Anxiety, and Open Up to a New World of Possibilities by Mike Dow takes readers to the leading edge of an exciting new and effective approach for these and other mental disorders. Jessica Ward, who also writes paranormal romance under the name J.R. Ward and contemporary romance under the name Jessica Bird, presents readers with a coming-of-age story of a bipolar teen thrust into a world she knows nothing about in St. Ambrose School for Girls. Sarah unexpectedly is accepted at a prestigious preparatory school due to some underhanded work by her ambitious mother. She quickly becomes the target of the school's queen bee, Greta Stanhope, but gratefully has the support of her roommate, Ellen, who could give a crap what anyone thinks of her. There is, of course, a swoon-worthy resident advisor down the hall, the object of multiple affections. Ward showcases the sordid underbelly of prep school society with its caste system and focus on wealth, while still weaving a dark story about a shocking death at St. Ambrose. A little bit Heathers, a bit more How We Fall Apart by Katie Zhao. The Bequest by Joanna Margaret takes high school bullying to the PhD level in a twisted story about the cutthroat world of academia, set in Edinburgh, Scotland. The disappearance of a brilliant scholarship student and a young, charismatic teacher from an all-girls Catholic boarding school in Ireland is an unsolved mystery that has captivated the whole country for 25 years in The Temple House Vanishing by Rachel Donahue. Purely coincidentally, this next title, like Boyle's Blue Skies, is also set in the Sunshine State. Notes on Her Color by Jennifer Neal. Florida kitsch swirls together with magical realism in this glittering debut novel about a young Black and Indigenous woman who learns to change the color of her skin, a trait Gabrielle inherited from her mother Tallulah. They guard their power carefully within the walls of a home that's been bleached completely white. This is the doing of Gabrielle's father, Robert. After battling his executive-level colleagues all day at the office as a man of color, he needs everything in his house to be white, including his wife and daughter. Music is the one area where Gabrielle has always been able to express herself, and her piano teacher, a queer, dark-skinned, confident woman, everything her father abhors, encourages Gabrielle's creativity and helps her to open up and grow into her own identity. With a generous helping of magical realism and the assured tenderness of a born storyteller, author Neal lays bare the brutality of how intergenerational trauma and racism conspire to teach people of color to hate themselves. Here are some read-alikes. Paulo Scott probes the old wounds of race in Brazil, and in particular the loss of a Black identity independent from the history of slavery, in Phenotypes, a story about biracial brothers. 9 stories highlight the complexity of being Black in modern America, and Chris Stuck's Give My Love to the Savages, including a Black son who visits his white father during the 1992 Los Angeles riots, and a Black Republican whose skin disease is turning him white. And, in case you missed it, local author, Hugo Award winning editor, and triple threat guitarist Jason Heller's newest title is Repeater, a high fidelity meets the Magician's 90s punk rock fantasy. Readers first meet Peter, a punk rock guitar player with OCD tendencies. It's why everyone calls him Repeater, who works at the Wax Rack, a record store in Denver. Sound familiar? Pete has a talent he couldn't understand until he attends a by invitation only concert at a secret warehouse location. Pete discovers he can do some amazing things when he performs a ritual that dives into his OCD. You can call it magic if you want. And there's this band, Order of Organs, who are all magicians, and they need Pete as much as he needs them if they're going to save Denver from what's coming. Filled with the anti-mainstream and DEI ethos of the movement, Repeater is the heartbreaking punk rock fantasy to kick off the summer. Anarchic, big-hearted, and fun, Queens of Noise by Lee Harlan is a scruffy tale that will appeal to fans of urban fantasy, punk rock, and queer paranormal romance. A science fiction anthology edited and with introduction by Steve Zisson Reynolds, gives readers a chance to sample 26 fantasy and science fiction authors who mash up punk rock music and speculative fiction in both near and far future visions. That's all for this month. Thank you for tuning in to Denver Public Library's Friday 5 at 5, and we hope you enjoy these great reads and listens. Check out or place a hold on these titles and a whole lot more right now at denverlibrary.org, link below. Tune in next month for new recommended reads. Bye!